गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. We are in Amrutanubhava chapter 7, OV number 270. Jnaneshwar Maharaj said, to call this sport of the self as ignorance cannot be justified. However, if one insists on calling this sport of the self as ignorance, we will tolerate it. And so here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying that when we say ignorance as opposed to reality, you are creating two things, isn't it? Reality versus ignorance.
Yes.
But we have to now bring your attention to this point that ignorance is not outside of reality. Nothing is outside of reality. And therefore, to take ignorance as ignorance is wrong. You understand?
Yes.
Reality is all that there is. Call wave as a wave is wrong because essentially it is water. Right? Now we have got caught up in our concepts, in our ideas, in our way of looking at the world, and we got so entrenched into that type of thinking where he is separate to me, you are separate to me, we see other children being born, see we say we are born, and we say we are intelligent, I don't know about so many things, and this concept of ignorance has come about. But taken view from the absolute, there is nothing called ignorance. Just like taken the view from the sun, there is no darkness. Taken the view from the water, there are no waves. Taken the view from the gold, there are no ornaments. Similarly, taken the view from the self, there is only self. Remaining in this thought and being it, I shouldn't say remaining in this thought, thinking this thought and coming to no conclusion. Okay? Thinking this thought and coming to no conclusion, you will fall into yourself. See? She's coming. Radha will come and sit there.
Oh, she's coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
So once this magnanimity of vision is developed, where only oneness is perceived in spite of manyness, then life becomes relaxed, purposeless, and a joy, where loss or gain makes no difference. What can you gain? You are essentially the reality. The whole world is essentially the reality. Can water ever become elated because the wave became one with water? Or will water go through a feeling of depression because out of it a wave was created? Water can never have that experience. It can only have the experience of oneness, which is without an experience. It is an experienceless experience. See? And this is what we need to come to in ourselves, that we are essentially the self. I am, and this I am is all that there is. Nothing else is. Whatever you are seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, talking, feeling, etc., all this is nothing but the self alone. And this vision can be given to you, this abidance in this, what these words are indicating, because these are words, they're indicating something, isn't it? That everything is one. That abidance will come only when we are ourselves, not when we are as the body or as the idea or as the concept or as the, oh, I have to move away from ignorance and come to the truth, and I have all those concepts, I have to drop everything. And from this absolute standpoint, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, if words can be used, it is the sport of the self. But that is also a talk of the ignorant. He says, if they say it that way, it's okay. If they call it ignorance, so it's okay. If they call it sport of the self, it's also okay. It is as it is. How ridiculous it is to call pure consciousness, the one which illumines everything, as ignorance. Verse 270. OV 270. आत्मा प्रकाशीते अज्ञान ऐसे म्हणणे हन तरी निधि दावीते अंजना न म्हणिजे काई. Don't we call it ajnana, anjana, don't we call it anjana, black suit over a flame, which gives the special vision to see the hidden underground treasure? So also if someone calls the self-illumined Atman as ignorance, we accept it. If someone calls, here example we'll see, the Atman, the pure consciousness, the illuminator of everything, of which creation is the manifestation, can be accepted to be called as ignorance, because it is also a manifestation of ignorance only, no? Other than reality, nothing else. So whatever, any word you say, kill, you say murder, you say anger, greed, jealousy, hypocrisy, egoistic, these are words which you have created differences. But are they existing out of the outside the reality? Are they? No. But do we have the understanding, do we have the vision that they are the reality? We think they have to be discarded, isn't it? See, the most beautiful thing is that once we come to this one without a second principle, that I am, that the truth, the reality, and by its grace, I am able to, my understanding or perception, or I fall into this experienceless experience that this whole world, or just take for example at this moment, this room, I become one with this room because I realize this is my room, isn't it? This is an extension of myself. Then will I hate anything in this room? Whether it is an object or whether it is a person? I'll automatically. So all those things that are told in the scriptures, that practice truthfulness, don't tell lies, keep hygienic, and so many qualities are told. Practice non-violence, don't possess things of others, or don't. But when everything is I, there is no question of a desire for anything in the house, because it's already mine, isn't it? Will I desire anything here? Oh, I want the camera. I already have the camera. It is mine. See? So whatever is included in the I, automatically all those great qualities that are told in various scriptures, they start functioning automatically. So what is that we have to do, or our disposition should be an on all inclusive disposition, that I am that self, I am that reality, which is all inclusive. Nothing excludes it. And that is the truth. Every master is experiencing that truth. That is why unconditional love. See? So bring yourself. You have what I have just told you, you have heard it in different ways. But what now Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying is fall back into yourself. Only from the self's point of view. If there is a point of view. Okay? I have to keep using the cancelling language. From the self's disposition of all inclusivity, automatically you will see everything and nothing as it is. It will not be, you will not run away from anything, you will not run towards anything. Why? It's all that one. It's that one which is expressing. Do you run away from right hand and go to the left leg? Do you run away from the left leg and go to the eyes? Do you run away from the eyes and run to the ears? No, everything is one. But then, yes, I don't want to see. What do you want to? You are not running away from the eyes. You are running away from the object there, isn't it? Which you have perceived in your mind as someone other and a cause of joy or sorrow, isn't it? Therefore you are running away from it. But are you running away from your eyes? Cannot. So just like in my eye, I have included the entire body, mind, intellect, and I can't run away from it. Similarly, when I have included the whole room, this whole house with all its belongings, including you all, I can't run away from you also. Because it's I. Expand further, whole universe. Automatically, no desire. Then eyes are seeing, let them see. Ears are hearing. It's not that I am hearing. Then we go through the experience of life without becoming the experiencer. We go through the experience of life without becoming the experiencer. Then we will see but will not become a seer. We will hear but we will not be the hearer. We will know but there is no knower born. We will experience but there is no experiencer born. Again, this is a cancelling language. We are trying to impress on our minds that what would it be like by using this language? And you will glide into it. Your mind will stop conceptualizing. Because there is never an experience for you without you being the experiencer. And we are saying, then this whole thing will be an experience, you will experience without being the experiencer. Why? Because it's all one. It's like saying water is experiencing the waves without becoming the experiencer. In other words, water is not experiencing the waves. He is. That's it. Full stop. See, to this depth, to this subtlety, in fact, what these words are indicating is even beyond subtle. It's beyond the gross, the subtle and the causal. It is transcendental. And that transcendental principle is the self. The Atman, that pure consciousness, the illuminator of everything, of which creation is the manifestation, can be accepted to be called as ignorance. Don't we call the suit, the collyrium, or Anjana, as the giver of divine vision, which helps in discovering the hidden wealth? It is one of the sayings in those times. If It is in this light we accept when it is said that creation, the play of consciousness, is the creation of ignorance. How absurd it is to do so is stated through an example.
Yeah, done up to 275.
Yeah.
What is that?
275 finished already.
275 or 271?
75. Yeah, up to 75 we have.
275. How come I can't remember all this?
I have 271.
Okay, yeah, I got it here turned 275. Correct. So we'll just read the recap. Okay, no problems. Each thought is today the thought came out differently for that verse.
Yeah, last that is.
It was different.
Hmm.
We are telling the same thing but in different words. Don't, in the 271st OV, don't we call the yellow golden idol of the goddess Kalika or as Kali, black? Similarly, we accept calling Atman as ignorance. So even though the statue is of a effulgent golden color, but we are calling her Kali, meaning the black one. Our experience is something and we are calling her something. So like that, the self is also called as ignorance. The reality is also called as ignorance. Because proper thinking will show that everything is illumined by pure consciousness. In fact, all the tattvas means the various things that go into making up this creation, from Shiva up to the earth are illumined by him only. How do you know Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu? How do you know Paramatma? How do you know Ishwar? How do you know Maya? How do you know space, air, fire, water, earth? How do you know the trees, the animals, human beings? How do you know the emotions? How do you know the otherness? How do you know about oneness? How do you know about the Brahman, the reality? How do you know anything? How do you know? Is the knowing coming from outside? Knowing is taking place in here, isn't it? Knowing is taking place within. It's not coming from outside. That's what is. All this knowledge is possible because I am. All knowledge is possible because consciousness is, and that consciousness I am. Prajnanam Brahma is one of the consciousnesses, Brahman. I am that consciousness. And that consciousness is all inclusive, it's all knowing, it's ever existing, it's ever blissful. Nothing is outside of it. That consciousness I am. In the 273rd, it is because of this Atma Tattva that the intellect has the capacity of knowledge and comprehension. All the faculties are enlivened, and it is this effulgence that sees the light. Same thing what I just said. Intellect cannot function without this pure consciousness, this Atman. What intellect, sometimes it's manifest, sometimes it's unmanifest. When is it unmanifest? In deep sleep it is unmanifest. In waking it is very well manifest. So who's observing, in whose presence this manifestation and unmanifestation of the concepts, ideas, thoughts, feelings, etc. is going on? Who is illuminating all this? Because if you say, I know I was awake and I know I was sleeping, then who is illuminating that deep sleep state? Who is illuminating the dream state? Who is illuminating the waking state? That I am. But see, waking world comes with a waker. Dream world comes with a dreamer, deep sleep world comes with a deep sleeper. But who is illuminating all the three? If you take that position, then this fellow will not become the waker, dreamer and deep sleeper. Experience of waking, deep sleep and everything is going on. But the personality will not be born. Okay? And when personality is not born, the experiencer of the waking world is not born, called the waker, then what will be the experience of the waking world? It will be an experienceless experience. In other words, everything I am. We are saying it from where we are at the moment. But from the self point of view, it will not see the waking world as separate to itself, like we are seeing it right now. It will not see the dream world as separate to itself. It will not see the deep sleep also as separate to itself. It will be a one homogeneous experience beyond time and space. See? One homogeneous. No distinctions. In spite of the distinctions. Distinctions are experienced by individual. But once we come to the absolute, there are no distinctions. You go beyond distinctions. Therefore, experienceless experience. So, where is the question of ignorance? Which ignorant fool calls the self-effulgent Atman as ignorance? Who can pack the sun in a bag of darkness? True knowledge is that where one is very clear that all experiences from all points come from me alone, and I is the substratum supporting all experiences. This is the way to transcend the limitations of all experience. So all experiences begin from I. Seeing is not from I, not this physical eye, it's coming. I is only a window. Hearing is happening because of I. Thinking, conceptualizing, ideating, breathing, feeling hungry, waking, dreaming, sleeping, everything is beginning from this I. Be that one. Don't dilute yourself. How do we dilute yourself? By becoming. What do we become? We become a waker. Then how does a waker get diluted? We become a father, mother, daughter, sister, further dilution, Gaunatma. This is the second generation beginning. So don't fall down till there. Don't fall down at being a waker. And this is just one way of looking at it. So you cannot stop living in this world. So continue moving in this world. Whatever has to happen is happening. Stop taking charge of it. Stop taking responsibility of it. Stop thinking, I'm not doing my duty, I'm not doing this, I'm not. No. It is all happening the way it is meant to happen, whether you think or you don't think. Everything is happening the way it is happening. We unnecessarily take the position of becoming the experience of what is happening, experiencer of what is happening. And the moment we become experiencer, we create impressions. See? Get out of the way. Let life happen. Did you think as a child from where the food is going to come? Did you think as a child when I should not do toilet here in the nappy or on the bed? Life happened. You grew. But now we go to gym to grow. As a child, did you go to school to speak the language or learn to eat or learn to walk? Did you go to school? Did we? No. Then why we have to go to school, to an education system in order to grow? Life is self-sufficient. Atman is self-sufficient. But we dilute it, thinking, I don't have the capacity, I must learn from someone. That I am only limited, I have to take it from someone greater. If left alone, Everyone will come to know who they are. See, see, different way of looking. Challenge yourself to look in these ways. Challenge your mind. Don't live in a conceptual world. What we are living is a mechanical, robotic life. I am this body, I am thinking like this, these are my likes, these are my dislikes, I don't like this person, I like this person, every Sunday I have to go to the satsang, every morning I have to get up, and without a tea and shower my day does not begin, you know. It's all mechanical, 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 mechanical. Let that mechanical life continue. You cannot do anything about it. But where your attention is your attention on that mechanical life, that routine, or is our attention on the oneness, because of which this whole thing is happening? See? That focus, that disposition is required. You call that disposition a Lord, you call that disposition the Atman, it's one and the same thing. But start thinking, start brooding, start pondering over what would be the vision of that one who is everything. Start thinking. You will vanish. You will vanish. Now Jnaneshwar Maharaj is making fun of the person who keeps insisting that the pure self is ignorance. Why do we study books? Because we feel we are ignorant and we have to come to know, isn't it? Jnaneshwar Maharaj is pulling the carpet from under your feet. He is saying there is no ignorance. अपूर्वा ज्ञानाक्षरी वसता ज्ञानाची थोरी शब्दार्थाची उजरी अपूर्व नव्हे की. Is it not the wonder of wonders to call this extraordinary glory of the pure consciousness as ignorance? See? Lord doesn't say that the whole world is Maya. Lord doesn't say. We have given the connotation Maya is equal to hypnosis, Maya is equal to ignorance, Maya is equal to self-forgetfulness. Maya is that power which makes us forget ourselves and think about the world as think about the world, isn't it? But here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, can Maya be other than the Lord? Don't. Ignorance means what? Jnaneshwar Maharaj's definition of ignorance is absolutely wonderful. Ignorance doesn't mean that I don't know. Normally ignorance means I don't know. You are unaware, isn't it? That is ignorance. Jnaneshwar Maharaj says ignorance is incomplete knowledge. Incomplete knowledge. And now, before he has used that term, but now he is saying to think that you are incomplete itself is blasphemy. You are not incomplete. Your life, the whole universe that you are experiencing is your extension. It is your vibhuti. It is your manifestation. Just like the whole dream world was your manifestation in the dream, similarly this whole waking world is your manifestation. Stop thinking you are a product and a parcel of this universe. No, universe is your product. Universe is your extension. Universe is your vibhuti. Universe is your manifestation. Rather than thinking you are a product of this universe, that you as this body have manifested in this universe. No, the more we come to the disposition of the self, therefore, uddharet atmanatmanam, natmanam avasadhayet. Raise yourself by yourself in yourself. No other support is required because you always are. And there is no journey. We are thinking there is a journey from here. Oh, I have to do yoga, I have to do devotion, I have to study books, I have to go to satsang, I have to do pranayama, I have to do contemplation, and then shravanam, mananam, nididhyasan, and then I will come to realize. There is nothing called realization. There is nothing called realization. But then scriptures are talking about realization. Yes, they are talking. And that realization is not an event in your life. Our attention, our thinking is what? That now I am ignorant and one day I will get realized. Isn't it? Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying the realization is happening every moment. It is your being. What journey can a wave make to realize water? It is already water. What journey can you make to realize the self? You are already the self, and once you realize that you are not a product of this creation, this whole creation is your extension, is you. Then where is the journey? Then where is the journey? Then there is no journey. Because the whole universe is in you. As long as you think you are a part of this universe, or you think you are only the waker, and waking world is very important, and then we fall further, that thinking that we are a product of this universe, born in time and will die in time, then we create a journey that I must self-realize before the waker dies.
Imaginary journey.
Exactly. But when we focus on the self and come to realize that this whole universe is nothing but the self from the absolute standpoint, then where's the journey? If the wave takes the position of water, then there is no more journey required for it. It becomes with the entire infinite waters, knowing everything without a thought. Then it becomes birthless, then it becomes deathless, then it becomes infinite at that very moment. Was it before also like that? Yes. Before also it was like that only. Whether it believed that it is not, that is its imagination. But for all purposes, before the wave was, it was water. When it was a wave, it was still water. After the wave also it was still water. But as long as it thinks of itself as one individual, and individual is with limitations and conditionings of time and space, isn't it? As long as it is thinking about itself as that, then a journey will be created. But the moment, while it is all going on, this phenomena is going on, it takes the position, but I am essentially the water, I am essentially the self, and start looking at it from this point. The individuality will dissolve. See, it's freeing, not temporarily, eternally. It will be free. And that is our essential nature. So to call this eternal self as ignorance is not right. So Jnaneshwar Maharaj says here, the word jnana prefixed with an upasarga a becomes ajnana, ignorance. Hence, it is the glory of jnana and not that of ignorance. This being so, is it not a wonder of wonders to call this foundation-based knowledge jnana by the word ignorance? So just like a father, a mother, a sister, a daughter, can they be possible without a woman? Can they be possible? No. So woman is the base, and on that the mother, daughter, sister are superimposed, isn't it? Similarly, Jnana, which means knowledge, is the base, and to it a prefix is added, a jnana. And now we are taking ignorance as something real. But now ignorance has been superimposed on the pure knowledge that was always there. A mother is superimposed on the woman which was always there. But is woman, is the, what do you call, mother always there? No, sometimes she becomes a wife, sometimes the daughter comes out, sometimes the sister comes out, but the woman remains. Similarly, knowledge remains. Knowledge is the base. It is the nature of consciousness. Chit, Sat, Chit Anand. Chit is all knowing. And on that, the ajnana, the ignorance is imagined. It is indeed a wonder of wonders that the glory of the pure consciousness is being sung by the words ignorance. Is it not a unique, strange way of using the word ignorance to denote knowledge? One may say that the world is the result of ignorance, but in reality, the world is the glory of Paramatma. This manifold manifestation of beings is my vibhuti, my glory. I told you before, the whole thing is a manifestation of the self, of the Paramatma. In the Panchadashi, chapter 3, verse 31, while dealing with the Panchakosha Vivek, it is said that what remains after denying all the 5 koshas one by one is nothing. This nothing is the self. It is only a difference in the use of language. Whether you call it ajnana, atma, or one without a second, truth alone is meant. Therefore, there is no need or point in arguing with anyone about the use of words. Whatever be the word used, I is the same pure self. Whatever emotions I may have, whatever limbs I may think of, as many breaths, in breath or out breath, so many concepts from childhood till now, but I has always remained the same. Isn't it? Thoughts have changed, breath has changed, body has changed, emotions keep changing, but I don't change. I never felt the absence of I. I felt the absence of various experiences, memories, concepts, but I never felt the absence of I. This point is brought home by a lovely example. लाखे से मांदू से आगी से ठेवणे काई से आत बाहेरी सरी से करूनी घाली. Can one keep fire in the box of lac? The fire will consume the lac from all sides. Lac, you know? You know lac. Lac is that sap which comes, and if you see all the declarations that are made, they melt that thing and then they put a stamp on the papers. That is lac. And it is very, very combustible. Very catches fire very easily. So here he is saying, have you ever heard of keeping fire in a box of lac? If you put fire or even a small, piece of charcoal also, it will consume the whole box only. Similarly, what is the use of keeping fire in a box of lac? The fire will burn and consume the lac. In the same way, when the word ignorance is attached to pure consciousness, the ignorance will be consumed into the nature of the consciousness itself. It cannot exist independently. How beautiful. And what is fire? What is of the nature of light? The truth. So when you start thinking that ignorance cannot be ignorance without the self, without the Atman, it is an extension of it. It is, because Atman is all that there is and ignorance is a part of it. Then when your attention is on that all-inclusive principle, then ignorance will be consumed. Ignorance here is taken as the lack and contemplation on the truth, or the truth is taken as the spark or the fire. It is meaningless to call the pure self which is supporting the whole manifestation of the world as ignorance. Manaoni jagajnane sfurate bolata ajnanavadate vikhurali hoti ate vache chiye. The whole manifestation is the expansion of this, the throb of the self. Therefore, to call self and the world as ignorance or effect of ignorance is nothing but blabbering. Again, same thoughts, the whole world, the whole manifestation is the expansion of the bliss, the self that I am. Therefore, to call self and the world as ignorance or effect of ignorance is nothing but blabbering. The total world is nothing but the manifestation, sfurna, throb of pure self. But if one goes on arguing it is the karya, effect of avidya or maya, it can only be described as meaningless blabbering. There is no point in talking to such a person. Protect your, not protect, no point, waste of energy. How it becomes a shackle even to say such incorrect statements. Akhari tava govadhu pudhara Amrutanubhava Ma kaisa ajnanavadu ki je jnani. Even to utter such a word as cow slaughter is a sin, and if someone says so without killing a cow, he incurs another sin of speaking a lie. Such is the case when the self is called ignorance and it is insisted to be the truth. Even to utter the word such as cow slaughter is wrong, because even to think of such a thing is a sin. To utter the word is the first sin. To say it without meaning it, just for the fun of it, is the second sin. In the same way, to consider ignorance, which is not real, as the cause of the world, is the first sin. To go on insisting on this statement is the second sin, and the highest sin one can commit. I am something, but I consider myself to be something else and insist on it is the highest sin. So, what is the highest sin? Not the acts that you commit in the world. The highest sin is to accept yourself as an individual. And what are you in truth? The infinite. This is the first sin. This is what happened to Adam and Eve. They ate the apple, they were completely in bliss. They ate the apple, they fell down, isn't it? The forbidden fruit. And what was that forbidden fruit? Well, in that story, okay? The apple that they ate. So to call yourself, and what is individuality? It's an ignorant expression of, we call, it has come from ignorance. Individual is ignorant. He must come to know who he is. But what we are saying is, he is already that which he is seeking. Don't consider yourself to be an individual. Take the position of the self. How is this the highest sin? First, what does not belong to me, I claim as mine. Second, what I really am, I deny. What does not belong to you? What does not belong to you? Which you claim to be yours? Huh? No, no, but individuality is the claimant. What is he claiming? You did not create the body, but you call the body to be mine, I am the body. This is the biggest sin. And to prove that I am the body, this body was born by my mother and father, so I get attached to them. Another body was born by them, I become attached to them as a brother or sister. Then another body was born by another person and then I get attached to them. I call that person a husband or a wife. We keep falling further. Where there is no fall possible, we are falling. Why? Because of our disposition. Because of our disposition. So what is the highest sin? Highest sin is not that I am claiming myself to be something that is not mine. What is not mine? Body is not mine. It is by others. And we must utilize the body for the sacrifice of others. Not to indulge in the body. Not to, oh, this body needs a better bed, oh, this body needs more food, oh, this body needs, lotion and cream and this and that, and keep indulging in this. No, this body from morning till evening must be utilized ruthlessly to serve others. Then purification will take place. And the second thing that is taking place is, I am not accepting that I am the self. Why is that happening? Because I am accepting that I am the body. I have claimed the body to be me and I have unclaimed or disclaimer that I am not the self. And a result of this is the birth of individuality. See? Thus, we disregard the reality which is one without a second and bring avidya to distract the attention away from the truth. It is that avidya also has come out of our mind, ourself only. Even the utterance of the word ignorance indicates nothing but knowledge. Ani ajnana manane स्फुरत से अर्थपणे आता हेची ज्ञान कोणे मानिजेना. Comprehension of the word ignorance is also possible because of the knowledge. Who can deny this? How do you know ignorance? Oh, because you know. I know ignorance. It's self-cancelling, isn't it? But we never think that way till it is shown to us. Why? We have got so caught up in we have been programmed. We have allowed our mind, ourselves to be programmed in duties, in responsibilities, in social responsibilities. You are a citizen, you are a husband, you are a wife, you are a seeker, that is labeled us again and again and again and again and again, and we have started accepting that. We have to break, you have to break through all this. And the only way you can break through is not by thinking of all this. And how? By coming and accepting yourself as that one without a second principle. Keep contemplating, keep focusing, keep pondering over what it means to be one without a second. How am I living a imaginary life? When looked at in this way, it's showing that everything that I have believed is just a make-believe for myself. And which myself? The individual self. And what am I essentially? The infinite one. Even the statement I am ignorant, I do not know indicates knowledge. Even the very denial of the divine is possible because of the presence of the divine. self, self, and what do we call ignorance? Self forgetfulness. So, can forgetfulness happen without the self? Cannot. The very denial of the divine is possible because of the presence of the divine. Therefore, who can deny knowledge even while talking about ignorance? It is the same substratum of pure consciousness which is supporting both the wisdom of the sage and the foolish blabbering of an ignorant, from one who does not know. To keep on giving undue importance to ignorance is like drawing our attention from the content and fixing it onto the container. So, what do we call the house? The space in house space and infinite space, individual self and total self, infinite self. How do we transcend to the infinite self? How do you catch the total space? Stop giving attention to the container. Stop giving attention to the conditionings. What are the conditionings here? The walls. Is the space outside? Yes. What is its nature? Infinite. What is the space inside? Yes. What is its nature? Oh, this is the room space. How can room space be the total space? And why you are calling room space as room space? Because your attention is on the walls. Then why you are calling individual as individual? Because your attention is on the contours of the body. Then where should be our attention? Attention should be on the self, the Atman. Withdraw your attention from the conditionings. Initially that is required. Or at least, can you withdraw them permanently? No. You have to function as long as you are there, individual, your function is, but keep attention on the self. To keep on giving undue importance to ignorance is like drawing our attention from the content and fixing it on the container. Instead of thinking of what has come into our life, let us focus attention on who has sent it. Then it will be discovered that the whole world is the manifestation of the truth and truth alone. See, most of the time, we will look at your language. What you will be saying is, oh, I don't know what I did in my life that I have experienced this. Why are bad things coming to me? Why? And how can I come out of them? How can I come out of them? What can I do to, delay their coming to me? So as long as we are caught up in why and how and what, we are lost in we cannot come out of the gravity of that loop of. Then how you have to come out? All this is possible, good or bad or experience. Is whatever is coming to me, for whom is it coming? Or who is sending it? When you realize that the whole universe is your extension, self alone is one without a second, and the whole universe is included in that one without a second, then is there anything coming or anything going? Nothing. Because your attention is on the self. And see, so here when Swamiji says, who has sent it, is that what? Who has sent it? Even in meditation, when we meditate on the Lord, if you are meditating on an inert matter, you take a photograph and meditate on it. You take a statue and meditate on it. It will not help you. You have to see the person, that photograph, to be a live photograph. You have to see that statue not a inert statue, but a living person, then it is helpful. Because then it is conscious and you are seeking consciousness. If you make the God also in your mind as an inert form, it will not take you anywhere. It will become mechanical. See him as a moving person, talking person, his clothes fluttering in the air, etc. His limbs moving. So who has sent it? Has it come from somewhere outside? Who is experiencing it? I am. Who is this I? Then it will be discovered that the whole world is the manifestation of the truth and truth alone. It is not coming from somewhere and going somewhere. It just is. Can the water say the waves are coming and waves are going? Can it say? By mistake also will it say that? It cannot. Wave can say, I am coming or going. Because it is observing other waves are coming and going. Because the wave is conditioned, attention is on the container, on its shape. It's not on the essence. But from water, the absolute point, there is no coming and going. Similarly, from the self point of view, there is no coming and going. As an individual, only coming and going. Not only of this body, but all other experiences also are coming and going, isn't it? But from the absolute self that I am, from that disposition, no coming and going. Sat eva Saumya idamagra asit. Hey Saumya, the good looking one, all that you see is essentially the truth. And that truth, I am. Because when the teacher says, what you see is essentially the truth, he says, then what is truth? He says, Tattvamasi. You are that truth. And the student has to realize, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that truth. See? But looking at the world, it will never happen. Or it may happen. Why we should say it will not happen? Whatever the Lord's grace. Everything is Paramatma alone. Where is the question of ignorance? So let every action be a worshipful offering. Then we will have no regrets, no expectations, no frustrations, no loneliness. The mind gets emptied and filled only with the divine. How do we fill up our mind? By thinking about the variety. But where do you get the maximum joy and bliss? In deep sleep, when your mind is empty, isn't it? So recreate that condition in the waking state at least. Bring about a condition. And how can you bring it about? Try whichever way. Through pranayama, or concentrate on the divine theme, concentrate on the I, focus yourself, and automatically everything will become zero. Then we will have, and once we come to realize that everything is nothing but that one divine, then, and as I said, there will be flow of unconditional love. Then Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi. Then what I see is auspicious. What I do is auspicious. Who is say, from the realized person's point of view, there is no seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, because it is just happening. But other people see that his touch is auspicious, his presence is auspicious, his words are auspicious, his demeanor is auspicious, isn't it? His look is auspicious. Other people say that. He is not saying that I am auspicious. He is as he is. then we will have no regret, no expectation, no frustration, no loneliness. The mind gets emptied. The more we focus on this all inclusive principle, the mind will get in, because then mind is not focusing on this or that. It is focusing, in fact, it is focusing on its own essence. It is focusing on its own nature. Let us dive in this world as if totally concerned, but let us have only one connection with the divine and hold on to him. When this state of mind is invoked constantly, continuously, and naturally, like the steady flow, dhara of ghee, or the stream of water, then the chintanam, the meditation, becomes sarala, easy, steady, and uninterrupted. The difference between ghee and water is when you pour water from a container, from a glass, if I am pouring, in between you will see air bubbles. You will see separation between drops of water if the pour is thin. But when you take ghee, clarified butter, and you pour it out, it will be a continuous stream. It will not be in drops. There is no air bubbles within. And meaning without a break. So focus on the self without a break. In and through all your activity. Be inspired in whatever you are doing, and that inspiration will not come by what you are doing. The inspiration will come by being the self. Because self is of the nature of inspiration. Self is of the nature of ananda, the bliss. The effortless expression of consciousness, the effortless expression of continuous love is Paramatma in action, and yet he does not act. That is all. Put this example, apply this example on the water. The effortless expression of continuous love is water in action, and yet the water does not act to become a wave. Yet it is going on. The water unconditionally loves the waves. But from its, why it is doing that? If we are saying that to it, but from water's point of view, there is no wave. It is in love with itself. See? Taittiriyopanishad says, Esha Adesha, Esha Upadesha, Esha Veda Upanishad, Etad Anushasanam, Evam Upasitavyam, Evam Uchaitad Upasyam. This is the command, this is the teaching, this is the secret of the Vedas, this is the commandment, this should be observed verily, this should be lived in this way in one's life continuously till the last. And not otherwise. Jnaneshwara Maharaj concludes this Jnaneshwari, his Jnaneshwari with a prayer. May the dark clouds of misunderstanding disappear. May we discover the sun of the pure self that our essential nature is. May everyone fulfill one's life. And what is the fulfillment of one's life? Coming to know yourself as you are. And what is Jnaneshwari? Jnaneshwari is Jnaneshwar Maharaj's commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And that is the concluding verse in that commentary. Where this great saint, young master of the self, he is declaring, may the dark clouds of misunderstandings disappear. May we discover the sun of the pure self that our essential nature is. May everyone fulfill one's life. Okay. Not only he is aware of his own self, but in the world, that is the Leela. Who are we to decide? That self has expressed as these words, and it is blessing the whole world also. Why? Because this whole world is not other than the self. So if I am of the nature of divinity, then whole world is included in this I. then will not the world also become will be of the nature of divinity? So only auspiciousness everywhere. This is the manifestation of the pure self in the total world of names and forms. Other than Paramatma, nothing else is. Only such a vision will enable us to take the whole life as an expression of divine joy. Raso Vaisaha. The fulfillment of knowledge is devotion, and devotion flows so sweet that it dissolves all bitterness. It is an expression of full wisdom, full knowledge, full joy, full love for the totality. So, in this way, the teacher is, the Upanishad is commanding us again and again, be self-focused, not world-focused. Be self-focused. Abide in the self as the self. Under all sets of circumstances, even while listening. If you become the listener and try to understand what is being told, you lost the plot. Many times I have showed you this. If you ask the question, who is listening? At this moment, who is listening? The listener vanishes. You are in your own self. So your eyes are open, you are seeing. Who is seeing? The moment your attention goes to who is, to answer the question, who is seeing? You are there. Nothing special is required to be done. In this way, who is experiencing? I am. Come back. No more commentary. Immediately withdrawal from the scene happens and abidance in the self takes place. Maybe it is a minuscule second, it is a fleeting moment, but repeatedly if you keep coming back to the original self that you are, it will become a norm for you. Try. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sit quietly for a minute or two.